2028. You gotta, by 2028.
We broke the curse. You saw what happened with Pedro Martinez.
No, the curse is gonna break you.
Pedro Martinez broke the curse.
Just let me tell you. The curse started in May when you started, Israel established in 1948, May 14, right? So after May 14, 2023, in months started what they call October 7. Until now, we haven't finished. But it finished a lot of you. Even you are killing civilians. You don't target like, warriors. You're killing just whatever people you see that you kill. Why? Because you don't know what you are doing. Even what happened, Netanyahu, he just went and bombed Iran. For what? Nobody supported him, but that time, even Trump, he told him no. But what happened? Bomb retaliate, hell on Tel Aviv, on all cities, even killed a lot of people.
Triple One, can I just ask here, did something significant happen like March 1st or so of 2024? That would be the beginning of this, that's the first date of the 76 war. I mean, the 76 war.
76 war, you mean in...
the curse, 76 years would start March of 2024.
No, May 23.
May 23.
And 67. I was counting. I was waiting.
May. That's Alexa. From May 1948 to. Hold on, let me ask you.
May 14, 2023. That's the day they start the curse officially. Then, from that day until now, we see. First year was with, October 7. Until the next year happened, Hamas start to kill a lot of them in Gaza. And the third year, which started just last May 2025, what happened to them? Iran bombed them. Bomb Tel Aviv, right?
What, in May of 2024?
What?
Yeah, boom, boom, Tel Aviv, boom, boom.
Yeah, boom, Tel Aviv. We'll see more this year. We will see how you have to
Triple One.
see.
Triple One, do you really believe in this thing?
Yeah, because I went back to the history of them, and I saw every 76 years, they start in a hell. People kill them. People, get them out of the cities. If you go back, how many times they've been kicked? For sure. Every 67.
Oh, wait, this is tricky. May 2024 is when Iran launched their attack on Israel, which is exactly 76 years the start of the curse.
No. 76 years started from 23rd, 2023. You count.
No. May 48 to 24, May 24 is 76 years.
Listen, can I just address this
2024? No.
theory?
2023.
This theory is getting really tired. Okay, look. All these curses.
Run away from this theory because it's
I'm not running away. I'm facing it head on, okay? Yeah, you talk about the 76, the 80 years, etc. You know what we never had before? We never had an ambulance. Take a look at my PTO. You know what that is?
What is you mean your profile?
Yeah, my PTO. Both to refresh my picture, my PTO picture. On the screen. Take a look at it.
No, I was right. Exactly 76 years, May 2024. And that's when Iran hit Israel.
Okay, well, if you look at my PTR, you'll see this is something that we've never had before. We never had this type of firepower. Okay, there's no way we can lose with the type of firepower you see in my PTR. So,
But
don't hold your breath.
Morty, come on.
You mean the firepower that you mean the firepower that America's given you?
Yeah,
The greedy, begging son of a bitch. Quit begging our taxpayers' dollars. Quit begging.
Supporting Israel.
We don't have it. That's why.
To support you this year.
Exactly. Yeah, we're not going to keep giving you what we don't have. Aren't Marjorie Taylor Greene already told you that we don't have it anymore.
Oh, yeah, that's so. The Federal Reserve is printing money anymore for us this year.
No, they're not. No, he's not.
Show me where Marjorie Taylor Greene said the Federal Reserve is not going to be printing.
They're not printing. They're not printing, dude. They're not printing.
When we need money, they'll print.
Dude, they're trying to sell the bonds, and the bonds are not being bought. That's why the yields are going up. Everybody's selling American treasuries. Everybody's selling American bonds. Now Donald Trump has put a tax on the people with these tariffs. August 1st is going to be another shit day, man, for America.
Trump is going to stay in Israel. You watch.
America don't have no fucking money, dude. We ain't got no money to give you.
Yeah, and actually China purchased the bonds to bail U.S. out, which I found was a little weird.
China's selling their bonds.
You know one thing
China has sold. China is under. China only has about $785 billion now in American bonds and treasuries and investments.
You know what us Jews will
It's
never
Japan.
run out of? What we'll never run out of?
Yeah.
Money.
What do you want?
You want to bet?
Guys.
You want to bet? You're running out now. You run out today. Investors are walking away. Sovereign wealth funds are walking away. Samsung walked away. Intel is firing people now. First, they were going to build a $30 billion fucking whatever down there, and now instead they're laying people off.
You know what money can't buy? You know what money can't buy?
Love.
It can't buy you a ticket out of hell.
Oh, that's cute.
But you know why let me tell you, Triple One, why I don't believe or I don't want to believe in this 76-year theory.
Please tell
That's
us.
because if Israel escapes the curse on the 76th year, I don't want to wait for another 76 years.
No, yeah.
So I want it to happen, you know.
This is the extermination of my people.
No. I am for, not for extermination of the Jewish people. I am for dismantling the Israeli state. I am for it.
Faiz, I want to tell you something. The first year, not like the second year. Third year is more harder on them than the second year. So we are just started from May 2025. We just started the third year. After 1 month, it happens, bomb, killing. Okay? We will see still.
I love that song, man.
So this is interesting that last May of 2024 that the Mossad went into Syria and captured over 2,500 items that belong to Eli Cohen, or Owen, I think it's Cohen, the Israeli spy who was executed in May of 1965. He's the one that got all the way up to the defense minister in Syria. But he had 2,500 items. I don't know what Syria was still doing with them. And Mossad went in and got them last year.
Yeah, but I think that they've been in hell since that start of the 4 years curse. They've been in hell. Nobody can imagine that anyone can hit Israel. Nobody can imagine they will run like rats in the bunkers. Nobody can imagine that they will just run by boats to Cyprus. Nobody imagine. So you will see more. But what I know from the history, the fourth year, that's the deadly one. But we are now in the third year, so we are in the beginning of the third year.
It's not different.
I know, but we will see.
Yeah, we will
see.
I find
I
it a
don't
little
know who
concerning.
will hit you now. I don't know. Maybe not Iran. Maybe Turkey this time.
I find it a little concerning that you're so enthusiastic about the destruction of a very divine group of people.
Well, have you not heard your voice? I don't want to hear it again.
I'm not going away.
No, stay. I wanna talk to you. Stay.
Meanwhile, guys, I just want to share a little news here. 10 kids were reported killed in the last 24 hours due to starvation. 10 kids were dead due to starvation. 3 kids got killed due to an airstrike on Gaza. And Witkoff, the U.S.
Special envoy.
Special envoy, Witkoff says that he is meeting European leaders this week to discuss Gaza ceasefire. I really don't understand what is there to meet European leaders to discuss Gaza fire. It's the U.S. that decides that has.
I can tell you what he's going to discuss. I can explain it.
Before you explain it, can I ask you a question, Fayaz?
Yeah.
Or Morty or anyone on stage?
Sure.
Do you know how long it takes to starve to death?
30 days.
Oh my God.
60.
No, 60 days.
60 of
You know,
Do you know the process of starvation?
It's not good.
Do you know what your body does?
Morning. Before you continue, this is the thing that I read this week because I want us to understand because we keep talking about starvation. We don't realize what it is. So I did a little bit of deep dive into it, and believe me or not, I got depressed after reading the scientific description of starvation, the first stage of starvation, stage and third stage, what it does to the body. Then when I read in one of the articles that starvation is one of the most painful deaths that a human being can have. I mean, believe me or not, on this panel I have spoken about it 3 to 4 times. So yes, go ahead, Morning, please enlighten us.
Well, I think we should start with what happens when the body starts to starve.
Yeah, these Zionists are very good students.
Hold on, let Morning finish.
Oh, go ahead. I couldn't hear her. That's why I thought she was done. I apologize, Morning.
You hear me?
Kind of low, but
Yeah, we can hear you now. Yeah.
Okay.
It's zero. You can't hear because you're just that.
The first things that happens is dehydration. So I'm sure everyone, if not majority of the people on stage, have probably been dehydrated at some point in their life. They've had a headache, they've felt nauseous. When your body gets to a point of dehydration that you start vomiting, you have to get an IV. Obviously, we know that there's no medical supplies for these people to get hydration, and they can't hold anything down even if there was food to hold down. And then the next thing that starts to happen is the body starts to eat itself. So any fat tissues, any muscle, anything that the body can consume calorie-wise, it consumes it. So everything right down to the muscle in these infants' bodies, these children's bodies. And then if there's any underlying health conditions, anything, whether that's, I don't know, Crohn's disease, diabetes, whatever, these are problems. These are problems that.
Hold on, let her finish, please.
So for 2 months it takes for the body to starve to death. Do you know how much it takes to survive? 200 calories a day. Only 200 calories. That's a Pop-Tart. So even if these people had one Pop-Tart a day, they could survive. One slice of toast a day, they could survive longer than they're surviving. So you're gonna sit here and tell me as a Zionist that you think that there's no need to dismantle this Israeli state? The fact that they're willing to do this to children? 2 months starving to death. And it's been going on longer than that.
We need to dismantle Hamas.
Morning.
Hamas isn't the reason they're starving to death.
Let me add what.
Don't misconstrue what's really happening. Don't gaslight. Don't gaslight.
Okay, Morning, I want to add to what Morning said. Morning, if, these experts now say that in the next 4 to 8 weeks, we will see the effect of starvation. Because it has now, they consider this to be the third stage of starvation, which is basically a fatal stage. After this stage, 2 things happen. Number one, the body cannot eat anything. Human beings beings cannot eat by themselves now. It has to be in the liquid form. It has to be force-fed via a tube through your mouth. Number two, or it has to be intravenously fed. They have to be fed intravenously. Okay, and both of these things require medical assistance, and there are not enough medical nurses and doctors in Gaza. That's number one. And number two, the side effect of this is that even if they start, feeding, let's say some of them get to be fed through intravenous methods or through liquids, their muscles need to grow back for them to be able to survive, because they can kind of live for another 6 months while the muscles are growing. Because one of the worst things that happens is an adult heart, a heart of an adult person weighs about 300 grams. And when the body starts eating your muscles, the heart muscle also gets eaten up. So much so that at one point it starts, the weight starts going down. So as soon as it touches 150 grams, from 300 to 150 grams on an average, the heart is not able to function as it is supposed to function. So there are a lot of side effects that are going to happen, even if even if Israel allows food aid to go tomorrow or today, and they start refeeding or feeding the Palestinians, they will still die because they may not be able to get the right calories, right nutrients. They may not be able to get liquid food. They may not be getting IV and so on. So this is one thing. The other thing, the side effect of this, which is already telling on the Palestinian population in Gaza, is that there are no Palestinians left in Gaza to give their blood for the hospitals, for the treatment, for the operations, and so on. So far, UN has been supplying blood, but a part of the blood was also being, donated by the Palestinians themselves. Now they say that there is hardly any Palestinian left who is medically fit, because they have had starvation, they're going through, they don't get enough water, enough food, so on. So they are not medically fit to donate blood. So that's another thing that's killing. So it's basically, Israel is making sure. This is why I say that the state needs to be dismantled. And I will say, I can come to the White House and say in a loudspeaker, this state needs to be dismantled in its current form. This is why, because Israel is basically waiting it out. They are just waiting it out because they know. When we know, we people like us who are basically laypersons, when we know that the end is near, Israel has experts, medical experts. Israel has technical experts, medical experts, military experts who would have told them what is going to happen when you starve these people, when they don't get enough adequate nutrients. They know it. So they are basically waiting it out. That's why they keep reneging on the promise of ceasefire. They deny this, they deny that. They basically are waiting it out because the crucial time has started, 4 to 8 weeks. This is what the many of the health experts, international health experts, Médecins Sans Frontières, their experts and so on, these people say. So they are just waiting it out for the next 4 to 8 years, 4 to 8 weeks.
Yeah, but I want to ask one question for this Zionist guy. Do you think that if any Holocaust coming to you in the near future, are you going to run away with it, or from this Holocaust, or from this coming, everybody going to kill you because of what happened to Gaza? Do you understand what's going on, how much people hate you now? They don't have the power to kill you or to reach you, right? But one day they will reach you, right?
No, they won't now.
Are you believe in God or you believe in devil?
We believe in Baruch Hashem, of course. But the point I'm trying to make is that you need to know about. Are you familiar with Palantir?
Volunteer of what?
Yeah, Palantir. Yeah.
Palantir is our defense against Holocaust, essentially. It's a surveillance system. It's run by Alex Karp. He's a good Jew. And basically what it's going to do is ensure that there will never be another It's going to be very hard for anyone to lift a finger against a Jew in the future
How do you
once
know?
Palantir is online.
If all those fucking systems are supporting Israel, gone.
Why would they be gone? Why are they going?
The people are really, angry from what's going on. They are angry from their fucking politics.
Man, it's
Fucking politicals because they are corrupt.
anger is getting
How come Palantir couldn't stop those Iranian missiles?
Yeah.
The fuck, man, Palantir ain't stopping no fucking hypersonic missile, man. They fucking destroyed 20% of the infrastructure of that damn place
You're in stuff.
in 12 days. If they had 12 more days,
It's not
just another 12 days, that fucking country would be gone now.
Hiding behind the corrupt politicians, and they will go right away because the people, they don't like them. They belong to America, they belong to Europe. One day they will kick them out. Then who will support you from the whole fucking world?
We don't need anyone to support each other, and we'll have Palantir.
Why? Because you have money?
Well, we have technology, really.
Your money
Is just a
No, but Morty, I want you to explain to us how Palantir is going to stop those missiles. I don't understand this. Tell us how Palantir, if fucking Thad can't do it, if David Sling can't do it, if Patriot can't do it, how the fuck is Palantir going to stop those missiles? You gotta explain that to us.
You're looking at it in a very reductionistic manner.
Even if you cannot run to Europe, you cannot run to America. A lot of people, they kick you out of the restaurants. Nobody.
Did anyone? Okay. Did anyone see the speech by Jonathan Greenblatt at the Knesset? Does everyone know who Jonathan Greenblatt is?
Yeah, the ADL head.
Did you know?
Yeah. I bought a pair of pants from him on Delancey Street. Yeah, I know who he is.
Do you know what he said at the Knesset? He said he
He
encouraged.
said, "You want jackets? We got jackets. You want pants? We got pants."
No, he encouraged Israel to use the same type of innovation that led to the Hezbollah Pager attack. Okay, he encouraged that, and he said apply that type of innovation to what's happening online with the anti-Semites. Okay, so you're talking about missiles, right? I want you to just take it down a notch a little bit. The Iranian missiles. What if? Okay, Unit 8200, 83, 84, even talked about creating a Unit 8300. Okay, what if all this stuff comes online and Iran can't shoot missiles into Israel anymore? You see, so it's not about how are we going to stop the missiles.
Now you live in a fantasy land. What if? What if? What the fuck? What if?
You're not doing anything. All you're doing is ranting.
What if? No, dude, you're living in what if, man. I mean, what if?
Listen to Zero.
Man.
You're only going to hypnotic
You believe in God.
and hyperbole. That's all
You
you
believe in God that He might change the whole shit you believe in.
Everything is
He can just send the earthquake tomorrow and fuck you all.
So Morty, carrying your pagers, I have a question for me, right?
I would not recommend carrying.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
But it wasn't just pages. There was also walkie-talkies. There was microwaves. It was solar panels. In the future, it just might be cell phones for all you anti-Semites once Palantir comes on.
Imagine Morty. Let me jump in here. Okay. What Morty says, and what Zero says, both of them are true. First of all, Palantir is the one that developed the lavender system.
And where's
Which identified the AI system identified the alleged Hamas operatives in Gaza. Okay? And based on this, without any human verification, they started killing. That's why we have such a big civilian casualty in Gaza. That's one of the reasons.
It gets better. Do you know about Where's Daddy? You're going to tell them about Where's Daddy?
No, let me tell what I know. Okay, point number 2. Palantir is not even. It's not. The lavender is not just identifying the so-called Hamas operatives in Gaza. The Palantir is also identifying Israelis who are not in sync with the government of Israel. I think Morty did not know this. So when you use one app to target somebody, when these things fall in the hands of the wrong people, like in this case Netanyahu, it's going to be used against everybody. and I think Trump has also hired Palantir to do something in the US. I read something about it, but I'm not sure about it. But as far as the Iran issue is concerned, Iran is not depending on, Palantir could still be doing something in Iran to identify people. They could have infiltrated Iranian intelligence system. We don't know that. But Iran is not dependent on any of the American technology for its warfare. Like, for example, in the recent 12-day war, they did not use GPS. They used Beidou, which is the equivalent of GPS developed in China. Similarly, every technology that they used during the 12-day war, it was non-American, non-Israeli. That's why the Israeli and American intelligence people could not.
If you don't hear him, he's just snoring.
Am I audible, 111?
No, I heard this guy. He's snoring. He's not hearing you.
Okay, doesn't matter.
No.
Okay, 111, let me complete.
No, he's giving good information. Brother Faiz, finish.
So basically, Iran made sure that they will not use any of the Western technology in their war against Iran. So that's why they were so successful, because they did not depend on American or Western satellites. They did not depend on Western Wi-Fi or whatever you call the internet and so on. Everything was either their own, self-developed, or it was Chinese. That's why they were so successful in reaching their targets in Israel. So yes, Palantir can do a lot of damage to the Palestinians, but Iran, we have to take it with a pinch of salt. It may not be able to.
Yeah, Chinese technology is taking over, man. So.
You don't want to talk about his daddy.
Yeah, let us know. What is it?
Where's daddy targets the alleged Hamas terrorists on the battlefield, and instead of killing them on the battlefield, it waits till they go home at night to their family, and then it hits the house they're in.
They don't go home. They don't go home, you stupid ass. They don't go home.
Okay, well then what's
Dude, they don't go home. They're in a battlefield. These are trained soldiers. They're in a fucking battlefield. They stay down in the. You need to go to Telegram. The Telegram will show you that when they're down in their little bunkers and at the end of the tunnels having pizza. They're having pizza, talking about what they did today, what they're gonna do tomorrow. They don't go home. They're in their positions in the battlefield.
All right, well, what's his daddy? What is his daddy doing?
But the thing is, let me tell you something. The scariest part of all these things is that such technologies can be. It's like a knife, It's a double-edged sword. You can use it for the good. You can use it for the bad. Unfortunately, such technologies are being put to use for the bad. Because it can be. Hamas is a bad guy today. But there was a time when the US considered the Nusra Front in Syria as a bad organization. Similarly, with the Taliban, they said you are a bad guy. Today they are friendly with them. But what I am always afraid of is that these technologies can be used to target anybody. Like they can check, they can literally know who is pro-Palestine on this app and who is anti-Israel. And they can target you. They can literally reach out to you. So this is the scariest part of these technologies.
Your lips can reach my butt. Your lips can reach my butt. They can kiss my ass.
I was trying to explain that to these anti-Semites. They're saying that everyone knows.
Yeah, Morty. Your Palantir's lips could reach my butt. Kiss my ass.
Well,
but Morty, you don't get my point. Even though I know that it can reach, I'm not scared of Palantir or Lavender or Israel. That's what every Morty needs to know.
Well, whether you're scared or not, it's no concern of us.
What you need to be worrying about is all of your tech people, the brain drain of your country, how they're all leaving and going to other countries. That's what you need to worry about, because the tech industry was basically your driving force, which created 20% of your GDP and 30% of your tax revenues, and they're leaving. 1,700 millionaires left your country this year alone.
They're on vacation.
No, not on vacation. They left. 1,700 of them.
They didn't leave. They're just a
In fact, knowing that Netanyahu is going to get them bombed again, because he's going to try to attack Iran, he's going to get them bombed again. They're not coming back. What are they going to do? Stay at the friggin' Marriott, wherever they stay, and then the Marriott gets fucking bombed? They knew it. The only people who can't leave that country are the ones who are on the welfare, which is like 60% of your friggin' country. They're all on welfare. They can't. They have nowhere to go. These retired people, and I mean, they put their whole life into this fucking bullshit Zionist plan, and now they're stuck there. I mean, a lot of them are sitting there saying, "Damn, why the fuck did I sell that house in Brittany and move to this fucking place?" That's what they're probably doing. I noticed they're pulling their hair out. Why did I sell my house in Birmingham? Now I'm fucking stuck in fucking Tel Aviv, running to the shelters every other 20 minutes.
You sound like a very angry
The
person.
shelter.
Have you
They're living in fucking
thought about
shelters,
seeing a
man.
therapist for how angry?
They're living in shelters.
You sound very angry.
The only ones, yeah, I might sound angry to you because that's your emotional response to what I'm telling you. In fact,
And do I
I'm
sound
giving you
angry?
fact, and you relate to it emotionally.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't seem angry at all.
Yeah, okay, whatever, man, whatever. It is what it is, dude. I'm just calling. Hey, I'm like the guy that's sitting up there in the lodge, overlooking the New York Yankees baseball game. I'm just calling the game. All I'm doing is say, hey, he struck out. Oh, okay, you know. That's all I'm doing. I'm the announcer,
The guy
man.
outside asking for
All I'm doing is announcing the game. All I'm doing is calling the game. It is what it is.
okay.
And you guys are striking out.
And that's the most difficult of all.
You seem to me more like the hustler outside trying to peddle nonsense.
Because the ego
What you're doing in this room.
But of course, if you try to give up.
So have you guys
then it will take
read Yakov Garb's report?
Because this is the point. You can't transform yourself.
Crickets. When there's crickets, that means no one's ready.
You
Go
can't
ahead and tell
make
us.
yourself say.
I never heard of it. I'll admit it. I never heard of
You
it.
can't make yourself.
That's why she asked to see if we heard of it. Now she's gonna tell us.
And
What
yet
the
it's
hell up?
absolutely necessary.
The
It's
Yakov
absolutely
Garb
necessary.
is a
If we
I
are
guess a university professor or something along those lines. It was uploaded to the Harvard Dataverse on
it's absolutely
June
necessary
26th.
that we let go of ourselves.
Yeah, June 26th. So basically, he is a, I think he's Israeli, believe it or not.
Or even just accepting it.
Let's look at this. So what we have is, I'm gonna give you like the basics just to talk about it. So he's a professor, he's an Israeli environmental social scientist, and he compiled a geospatial data set of these 5, I don't know if you want to call them compounds, but the 5 compounds of the supposed aid to feed the Gazans, to offer the aid for the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. Okay, so what they determined was that there's, up and down, this is just total violation, 4th Geneva Convention violations. They're just, it's absolutely, it violates humanitarian principles up and down. Really no debating it. It's just a long list of, it violates the humanitarian, the humanity, impartiality, neutrality, independence, principles, collective punishment, Geneva Conventions, I could go through them all. Basically, what we understand happened is in March, Israel stopped, halted all the aid, March 2nd, said, okay, no more nothing. Then the West, UN are like, listen, you have to do something. You have to give them food. You can't just not give them aid. So then Israel decided to respond with what they're calling the Gideon Chariot Package, GIDEON Chariot Package. So that is basically what they decided was
worse than that, right? So so you guys know about what is it called? It's called like the Morgate. There's the Nazarene thing, and then the up on the top. So wait, north, south, east, west, north, south. I think it's north. So it's north. It's up top, the Nazarene thing, and then the bottom is the Mogab. Is it called the Mogab? What is it? That one line? That tunnel, the militarized tunnel. Morty, you know what I'm talking about? Where's Morty? He left. Of course he's gonna fucking think we're talking about this. But anyway, so I'll just keep going. So, Israel stopped the aid, and everybody's like, listen, we gotta do something. So they're like, okay, we're gonna open up these 5 aid distribution compounds under the Gaza humanitarian aid. So these are like, they're completely fenced in. They're like fortress architectures, and they have what they do is they set up these fatal funnels where you have to. It's basically it's so terrifying. The Morag corridor, right? You have the South Morag, North South. You have the bottom, the Morag corridor, and on that other side, there's like 4 of those compounds, and then there's one compound up by the south, the Nazarene corridor, and that's in central Gaza. Okay, all of these are inside the IDF declared buffer zones, so civilians cannot. They're forbidden. They're not allowed to go there. This is fucking crazy to me. Like, I'm just banging my head, okay? So basically, they're saying, come on, come get aid, but also you can't be here. So anytime they're juggling the ambiguity of being able to kill anybody that comes through, even if they're able to get, even if they're just trying to get food, right? So anyway, let's see.
On purpose, refusing to hear what they have to say.
They violate every type of, like I said, all the humanitarian principles. The UN says that the relief has to be delivered with humanity, impartiality, neutrality, independence. And every
other side, Zionists,
or the UN, everybody was like, we're not going to work with you to run these because this is total trash. Like, you can't, this is crazy. To do this, it's collective punishment, right? And it's explicitly banned by the 14th Convention.
And they
So,
did illegal things such as trespassing, such as
5 sites, like I said,
their right of way.
are inside the buffer zone where people can't even
So I don't know
access.
why you keep putting
And then
this
you have
continual red herring out there.
Gaza City,
I don't
you
even like
have
the
a
Jews,
million
to be respected,
residents
to be honest.
that
I'm not a
have to
huge fan
cross
of all the things that a people group does.
fortified
That doesn't
corridor
mean
and the
that they
ban zone
deserve to be
on foot to
followed
reach
home
any
from
compound,
from their
which is
campus
crazy
or blocked from
because
entering their place.
the majority of the population
And I
literally
don't
can't
understand
reach
why
the
you
food.
keep putting
It
this.
literally is, it's a mechanism to literally starve everybody without, necessarily weakening Hamas, which that's what they're saying, that's why they did that, because they don't want the food to get to Hamas. And it has nothing to do with it. So anyway, the compounds are bare sand grids with single fenced entry and exit, and that's what they call them, the fatal funnels. And then they have they're overlooked by these guard towers. There's no toilet, no shade, no water, no first aid, nothing. So they're basically military choke points, right? And they they talk about how these military choke points, that's why they call it the fatal funnel. They're like these proven crowd panic amplifiers, right? Which means that, like, if anybody's like to scuffle or something, it triggers lethal fire, and everybody gets, like what happened with the 100, everybody just gets fucking demolished, right? And that's already been proven with the first days of the operation, okay? So you're just killing civilians with this fake false scheme that you're claiming to protect. Each box that they give the civilians, it feeds 5.5 people for 3.5 days. So you have to continuously go back and re-enter the buffer zone over and over. So constant repeated exposure to lethal terrain, right, to fatal funnels, which is just crazy. So this isn't any type of aid. This is just another way to kill off Palestinians that are starving and hungry.
This is evidence of refugees from
Right.
Syria, watching their videos, their ID, their safety, which is partly managing, restaurants, dancing, nobody cares. Then that's on you.
And I want to remind you that this is from an Israeli. This is from an Israeli. He's Jewish, and he's reporting this.
The whole idea is this about this Gaza humanitarian foundation. You remember when the U.S. was aiding in, the UNRWA was the aid distribution agency, okay? When U.S. suspended funds to UNRWA, U.S. had allocated at that point in time $300 million. So UNRWA, yeah. So these $300 million were not sent to UNRWA. That money was pending or waiting to be taken in the US. So that is how this Gaza Humanitarian Foundation was created in order to get access to that money. And then they said it is not enough. We need totally about $500 million for this. And a lot of guys jumped into that. Many funds jumped into that because they saw a lot of potential to make money.
That is just so alarming.
Okay, so this $300 million that was supposed to go to UNRWA, that got transferred,
about
to
it just came out of
this
Sweden.
foundation.
That is just so
Incidentally, the chairman of the foundation is also the evangelical Christian who is very close to Trump. And these people, and Tony Black, if you remember, the former Prime Minister of
reverse transcribes
who was instrumental in destroying Iraq, he is also involved in this venture. So are many other Israeli entrepreneurs and capitalists and so on. So this is basically a money-making agency. By the end of this venture, they would have probably said that we spent $1,000 million to feed the Gazans. But that's not going to be true. But like you said, they are not in a position to go and get the food. They are now in a position where they cannot even eat food if it is fed into their mouth. That's their condition now. Majority of the Palestinians are so emaciated at this point in time. They cannot even walk. So they are supposed to go back every 3 days to find, and some of these places, okay, some of these people have to walk anywhere between 5 to 10 kilometers one way to reach the distribution center and walk back. And every 3 days, every 3 days they have to do it. I mean, this is like you said, Bima, absolutely right. This is designed to show that we are doing something humanitarian, but it is actually designed to kill Palestinians in another way without bombs.
I just want to correct the guy who said class started in 2004. It is actually May 14, 2024. The 4 years the girls started. So this is we started the second year. So we passed the first year, and now we started the second year, and in June, the bomb is Tel Aviv. And we still see, we are watching. They think that killing people and, make them to starve, and there is somebody protecting them like America. of course, American people, they don't want to protect them. The corrupt politicians who's taking money from IAPIC, you know, one day they will be stopped. They will be even sued for that. And also they are using this kind of technology that any kind of solar wind can whip it up. Solar wind can happen anytime. And all those, satellites will vanish. And they will be alone. I believe that they will be alone. They will run like rats, maybe the last year or the year before. People coming after them, they will just really remember one thing, the starvation and killing of the children of Gaza. They will not see anything else. I wonder when Rasul said, even the stone or the trees, they said, come and kill behind me one Jew. I wonder why we will kill those people. Why we will revenge? Because they are Jew? No. Because they are killing people. They are making more than 3 years now, they are killing people.
Triple one, I have to interject here, okay? When we talk about the Quran and what happened during Rasulullah's time, there is a context why certain verses were issued, why Prophet Muhammad said certain things, okay? When we don't mention the context, it becomes totally, the meaning gets changed. So let us not, delve into religion. Because people do not know religion. Many people do not know what the Quran says. When we speak about what the Prophet Muhammad said, they think Muslims want to kill Jews. You actually strengthen the argument of the Israelis that all Muslims are bad and Muslims want to kill Jews, which is not true. The point that you were referring to, it has a context, it has a history. Okay?
And it's for the combatants. It's not for every
yes, it's not for every non-combatant Jew. So I think we should never, drag in religion without giving the context in which it was said. And we have to see whether that context exists today in this situation for that particular sunnah or the hadith or that particular verse to be applied. That's very important. I'm sorry I had to interject this and correct you on this, but this is very necessary.
There's something to report, but I was just talking about, those hadiths was there, still there, right? But I wonder why will the end of the end of the time or at the end of life we will face them and we will do this. Why? I wonder. I understood now. What's going on? They are killing our people, they are killing children, they are starving humans to death, and they are protected from, corrupt politicals.
I wanna.
That's very bad.
And I want to add to Triple One, a lot of the United States disagrees with the people. We do not support this, but for whatever reason, and I'm still trying to figure this out myself, there is a stronghold. I'm guessing it's Jewish lobbyists. I'm not sure, but there's a thing called AIPAC, right?
Yeah.
And there's the AIPAC PAC, but then there's like hundreds of PACs that operate under AIPAC, right? And the thing is that we have laws right now. We have the politicians have been bought and sold. There are these things called BDS laws, right? It's called an anti-BDS law. It's almost the entire union. It's about 40 out of 50 states, which basically means that you are not allowed to say anything about pro-Palestine. You can't say free Palestine. You can't do anything. Otherwise, you lose government contracts, if you're like a government agent, if you're a teacher, if you are a federal employee, if you have government contracts for work, all of that.
But that's what it's not the Free Palestine. It's about boycotting the Israeli products and services. I don't think it was about the Free Palestine thing.
Well, but the BDS is all about Palestinian freedom.
I understand, but it's not. I don't think it says the Free Palestine thing. It talks about how
It's a Palestinian-led movement for.
If you have a government contract with the government, that's the rule. It's not just Israel. I actually looked into it last time. It's all the allies. So let's say you have a government contract that's related to Canada. You cannot boycott it because you have a government contract, and Canada is an ally to America.
Okay, all you gotta do, all you gotta do is follow the money, Amir. Follow the money. These anti-BDS laws, which specifically say that you can't do any boycott. What is it? BDS, boycott, divestment, sanctions, right? For Palestinian freedom, justice, equality, right? That's the idea. If you look at who championed this, the congressman, and then you look at how that was funded, it was by two of the biggest Jews that are American Jews that are in the United States. Two of the most wealthiest, and this is the thing. It doesn't end there, though. It doesn't end there. So not only do we have AIPAC, we're dealing with these anti-BDS, but you see what happens when we have our universities, when we have, I'm talking our Ivy League. Did you see how many Ivy Leagues within the past couple years? Columbia, Harvard, Yale, Cornell, UPenn, Brown, Princeton. Every time we want to sit there, they freeze our assets, they kick students out, they do all of that shit. They arrest hundreds of students, hundreds. It's suspensions, expulsions. They're revoking your visas if you're right. And they've literally, and Trump has literally now at this point literally froze billions. Cornell over $1 billion in assets. UPenn almost 200 million. Brown half 500 million, half of $1 billion, right? All freezing these assets, telling all the research grants, the student aid programs, the infrastructure complex, all of that. They're taking it all away.
This Trump is not for Americans. It is for Israel. This is for his, their people.
And this is from the United States. This is the U.S. people saying we see what's happening with the Palestinians, and we don't agree with it. But we are literally fucking locked, tied, and gagged by this.
Dima, are you a U.S. citizen?
I am a citizen. I mean,
okay.
I thought about renouncing my citizenship over 20 years ago, but unfortunately, because I'm in this community. I know people personally that have renounced their citizenship, but they are not even allowed back in the country.
Okay, let me add something to that, to what you just said about the BDS. BDS, anti-BDS law is very strongly promulgated in the state of Texas and a few other states, and it is also practiced in some other states, but not so vigorously as in Texas. For example, I'll give you one example where you can go and look it up. One of the small towns in Texas, I think it's called San Marcos. San Marcos, the town council decided that $4.4 million that were supposed to go to Israel, that was previously, decided to be sent to Israel from the budget of Texas or San Marcos taxpayers' money. They decided that this should not be sent to Israel because our town has a lot of other needs. We need better roads, we need better schools and so on. So they passed a resolution to say that the previous resolution, which authorized sending $4.4 million to San Marcos, should be cancelled and this money should be used for the town itself. Immediately, the governor of Texas, I think his name is Greg Abbott. Greg Abbott sent a letter to the council, San Marcos Council, telling them this violates the anti-BDS law that exists in the state of Texas. And this he explained that in this anti-BDS law not only applies to individuals and companies, it also applies to the councils. The councils, even if the council people, the members of the council, decide not to give the money to Israel, the council does not have a right under this law to stop the money going to Israel. So he said, if you do that, in spite of that, I'm going to hold back all the federal money and so on and so forth and so on. It's a long story. But why I'm saying this now is for you to be, if you did not know, they are trying to apply this not only to companies and individuals, but also to US government bodies themselves. That's point number one. The other point that I wanted to mention was, do you know what is IHRA, International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance? This is an organization that has, if you go into their website, they will tell you what anti-Semitism means. They have 11 to 12, I think, a dozen definitions for anti-Semitism. For example, I'll give you one or two examples of the definition of anti-Semitism as per the IHRA resolution. One definition is, if you say in the US that so-and-so American is more Israeli or more loyal to Israel than to US, that's considered an anti-Semitic thing in the as per this this resolution. So suppose you're saying that American Jewish people, or even Americans, or who support Israel, are not loyal to the US, that is anti-Semitic. And if you criticize Israel, that is anti-Semitic. According to IHRA's working, they call it the working definition of anti-Semitism. Now the State Department in 2023 adopted it to be implemented within the State Department. Even though it is not a law, the officials working at the State Department, they have to follow this definition to arrive at an anti-Semitic act. Now, if I understood correctly, Trump, issued an executive order to apply this definition to all the universities and educational institutions and tied federal funding to compliance with this definition of anti-Semitism. So any university where this definition is not followed in toto, that university will lose federal aid. That's what Trump is doing with Harvard, with Columbia, and so on.
Brother Chris, San Marcos has never sent a single dime to Israel in the past. When you look into it, this thing that they were threatening, it was sort of like a symbolic thing I think they did. Because I checked the previous records, they've never sent a single dollar to Israel in the past.
No, I think they were going, it was allocated for Israel. I have to re-look that article, but it was allocated for Israel. But then the council passed a resolution saying that this money should not be sent to Israel. It should be redirected to the town itself, town's development. Anyway, I'll look into it again.
Yeah,
it was not sent. It was not sent.
No, it was never sent, and then even in the past, they've never sent a single dime to Israel. Because I wanted to check the previous history, see if they sent any money in the past. It says never. So this was sort of like a symbolic thing, right? Meant to represent San Marcos residents' share of water, federal funding, not a direct monetary transfer. And yes, the policy changed, the funds were reallocated. And the governor gave threat, right, that he's going to take away the grants and whatever, right? But nothing really happened. He didn't really take their grants.
Okay, thank you for that update. Thank you.
He killed himself, and among a lengthy list of potential foul play, the bullet was never.
But actually, that's a thing that I looked into last time. I was debating with the Zionists or something. I looked into it.
Multiple intelligence community assessments released in the months leading up to the November 2016
If you
election
have a government contract.
concluded that Russia had neither the
Did you guys
intent
know
nor
about this?
capability to impact
So if there's an
outcome
Israel,
of the US
if
election.
there's an ally of
On
America,
December 5th,
UK, Canada, Australia, Germany, and you are a businessman in America and you're doing business with the government, you cannot boycott any of these allies. It goes against the law.
But allies can change life. So do they have a list of, do they publish a list of allies every now and then? Because, for example, the government of Afghanistan, Taliban, was an enemy. Today they have become an ally. You know what I mean? So this is a very subjective thing, no? They will keep changing the allies, then they will say you have to follow those allies or comply with the law.
Yeah, no. So I'm talking about the Western allies, like Canada, Germany,
Okay.
all these. I'm not talking about like the third world countries. The third world countries, they still have this divide. Because at the end of the day, America is a racist country. The foreign policies are full of racist bullshit in there. Right? They treat each country like in a different manner. They should be treating all of them the same. Like Israel gets the upper hand up till 2018. The aid package that America used to give them, 3.6 billion. Only Israel had the opportunity to use this money in cash for their own expenses up till 2018. After 2018, they took that away. So now we give them credit, and with that credit, they can buy weaponry or whatever. But at the same time, there was a report I think 5 months ago where they funded Tel Aviv University up to $500 million or $400 million. From 7th October up to now, we have given them $66 million. I don't know how much more money we're going to get.
Hold on.
66 billion?
Yes, 66 billion.
Quickly, I want to add something. So this is what's different with Israel. Yes, there's a whole government contract, right? That's one thing. But Israel is so deep where you could have a private business, LLC. You, as a private business, are not allowed to boycott Israel. Actually, 38 states have laws that penalize businesses that boycott Israel. That's not in place for any other country.
No, I'm saying if you have a federal contract,
No, it's not a federal contract. That's federal contract. I get that. They want you to trade with their allies. It is what it is. But they're talking about private business LLCs. So you, as a private business,
it's a violation of our First. It's a violation of our First.
It's a violation. Right. Yeah, that's why there's people arguing against it.
And we have had some winners.
Yeah, but 38 states have laws that will literally penalize you if you, as a private business, boycott Israel.
You think does a private business has any government contracts?
No, not government contracts.
So if I had a store, right? Now, if I wanted to boycott, who's going to stop me? Because it's my personal business.
Yeah, but you understand something. It depends on the states. 38 states that have it when you open up a business, right? They actually, so it would have to be obvious enough. A small business doing it, but if it's a large enough business that impacts Israel, but they're private, of course, it's going to be very, very, you're going to notice it. You're not going around and saying, I'm not buying Israeli products on purpose. You could say, I don't need things in my business, people don't buy them, right? But if you're a private business that does larger business that's not government contracts, there's 38 states that have laws that will literally get you in trouble, penalize you for boycotting Israel.
It's really difficult. I don't think most people.
It's very much so unconstitutional. It's unconstitutional.
110%. What that puts, all of our teachers, I know one teacher actually won, but for all the people that don't challenge it, that don't have the money, you know how expensive it is to even begin some sort of, most people, listen, I gotta say this too, a lot of people hate America, and this is the last thing I'm gonna say because I have to go to bed. I promised my love that I wouldn't be on here for 12 hours tonight, but it's the last thing. I've been in, and I get in trouble, I've been in politics. I withdrew from politics. I went to school for politics. This was my thing. I thought, I was like, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to change America. So I spent $100,000 putting myself through school, cultural affairs, political science degrees, and multiple degrees. Right, okay, so dual major. Okay, so listen, I have been an elections inspector for almost 15 plus years, right? I stopped that, right? I traveled all the states, not all of them, like maybe most of all on the East Coast, doing campaigns and elections. And what I noticed, okay, every level of office, this shit is corrupt, okay? And the majority of the people, they don't know this stuff. These are, and it's people want to like condemn America, like, oh, Americans, they don't know, they really don't. Most of the majority of 9 out of 10 of them dumb Americans that go to the election, they're just dumb. Most people don't even make it to the election booth, okay? I've pulled canvas in a city of 60,000 people where less than 2,000 people voted year after year after year after year. This isn't a thing, okay? Like, people think that, oh, this is the majority of America. No, it's a very small, elite group of people that are making the decisions in this country. It is not the majority. Most people go out and vote for the presidential election, but it's so near and far few between, right? We have local elections, we have midterm elections, we have all these other types of elections, and nobody shows up for attention. Nobody knows what's going on. You can't have a good conversation about this stuff that we're talking about here on this app with your normal American. They cannot handle the conversation. They don't know fucking what's going on. They're just trying to basically survive, okay? But it is the few elite that are coming, that are making these laws. So the Republican Party platform, it was, and now this was years ago, back when I was into politics and I ran for office. I held 2 elected positions, low level, okay? I was a Republican at the time. But at that time, it was a prerequisite. You have to support Israel. There was no option. It's in the Republican Party platform. That was just what you have to do. If not, you're not going to be supported by the Republican Party. And the way that our two-party system works is that we are so heavy. We piggyback off of, like tickets, off of, like during the campaign process, all the Republicans work together. It's very, like if you know, you know. But the idea is if you're, like, even if you're a Republican and you're trying to run for office and you don't, toe the party line, you will be blacklisted, and they will make it their job to make sure that you don't get elected. And it happens. They will even go as far as getting the opposition elected, a Democrat elected. I'm talking full Republicans will go as far as, if you don't support Israel. Okay, so this is, because I'm telling you, like, the shit is fucked. But please consider that when you're thinking about and condemning all Americans. The majority of these people are just dumb, stupid adults walking around trying to survive this massive oppression. Relative to the world. There's obviously worse choices, but still, we don't have choices here. We're fucking oppressed.
It's like the law say it doesn't say that if you're private entity, LLC, or whatnot. Hold on. No, I already checked the laws. If you're a private entity, you're doing private business, as long as you don't take any government grant or government contract, then, otherwise you can boycott all day long as a private business. And I actually looked into this before, and I pulled it up right now. I can give you. How do we stop this oppression? How are we going to? Can you stop? Z, please relax, man. Talking to you, sir. Can you hang on? Hey, Z. Everybody talking about the phone. Bro, stop. Bro, I'll give you the mic in a bit. You can boycott any motherfucker out there if you're private entity or LLC. We're just gonna go back to it. So look, here's what I came up with this, right? It says if your LLC applies for a state grant or government contract for supplies, bro, can you beat up? Like, what you on about? if your LLC applies for a state grant or government contract for supplies, IT services, consulting, you might be required to sign a no boycott of Israel or pledge as a condition. Other than that, you private entity, it doesn't matter what state, because the judges they have argued that it violates your freedom of speech.
It does, but look at what this is. I'm reading it directly, right? So it's saying the can't boycott Israel law. It's not a single law, it's multiple. Okay, it says it's a body of laws and policies in the United States that restrict or prohibit boycotts. These laws target individuals, businesses who participate in boycott. So the reason it's not 38 states participate in this. So I know
Did you read the details of the ATM code?
Yeah, so all of this is a government contract that have various provisions. What's happened is they've doubled down, and this is what the courts, they're talking about this right here. These anti-boycott laws have faced legal challenges, with critics arguing that they violate the First Amendment right of freedom of speech and association. They are targeting 38 states.
It still violates the freedom of speech in a sense, because you're doing business with the government.
Of course.
Right? But what I'm saying is private LLC, or if you have a private business, you can boycott them as long as you don't have any government contract. If you don't, because when you sign a government contract, they make you sign that thing where you cannot boycott any of their allies.